All right, good afternoon and welcome to Fraud Detection and Prevention Tips for Caregivers. My name is Nina. I'm the Education and Training Coordinator at the Providers Council, and I'll be supporting this webinar today. The session will run for about 60 minutes. If you're watching the recording, you may not be able to see the chat, but I will put our events page into the chat for anyone who's interested. We have quite a few things coming up at the Council throughout the rest of this month and into next month, as well as throughout the summer. If you're watching the recording and you're not able to see the chat, I will follow up with all of you in an email as well, so you can see these resources as well. And so without further ado, I will pass you right off to Robin.
Well, welcome everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Robin Putnam. I'm the Events and Outreach Manager for the Office of Consumer Affairs and Business Regulation, or we call it OCABR. First, I just wanted to share a little bit about the office. Our mission is to protect and empower consumers through advocacy and education and ensure a fair playing field for the Massachusetts businesses our agencies regulate. We oversee our own consumer protection programs as well as 5 agencies, which are the Division of Banks, Insurance, Occupational Licensure and Standards, as well as the Department of Telecommunications and Cable. I encourage you to learn more about the work that we do by visiting our website, mass.gov/consumer. This website has consumer protection information, program details, blogs that offer tips on how to avoid scams and fraud, access to Massachusetts laws, and more. We also operate a consumer hotline, and live translation is available for callers. I will be sharing that contact information later on in this presentation. One of the programs that is relevant to caregivers and their clients is the Customized Wheelchair Lemon Law Arbitration Program. This helps eligible consumers settle disputes with customized wheelchair manufacturers. The Lemon Law provides consumers with a 1-year warranty that begins the day that they take delivery of a new customized wheelchair. To qualify for arbitration, consumers need to meet eligibility requirements. Like the customized wheelchair must have been purchased new and in Massachusetts, paid at least in part by the user, and had at least 4 repair attempts. So today we're going to talk about scams and fraud that target everyone, but ones that impact older adults and people with disabilities at higher rates. Billions of dollars are lost nationally, and millions are lost here in Massachusetts each year, mostly due to internet crimes. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center and the Consumer Federation of America both issued reports for 2025, citing growing losses. But it is also important to remember that this accounts for what was actually reported, and many victims do not report scams because of embarrassment. For decades, scammers targeted people through phone calls and snail mail. Now, with social media, text messaging, and artificial intelligence, or AI, scammers have an easier way to target countless people to steal their money, their identity, and personal information. Everyone is at risk, unfortunately, but older adults and people with disabilities continue to be high-risk populations. They are most likely to be victims of romance scams, government imposter scams, cryptocurrency scams, and predatory lending. Online dating, romance, or sweetheart scammers manipulate victims by creating the illusion of a close relationship to steal money or assets, taking advantage of their emotional attachment. In 2023, the Federal Trade Commission received more than 64,000 complaints about romance scams, with losses totaling $1.14 billion. Anyone can be targeted, regardless of age, occupation, or demographics, especially if they're on a dating app or active on social media. In fact, the Federal Trade Commission also reported that 60% of people who reported losing money to a romance scam in 2025 said it started on a social media platform. So it's important to understand and to that online users never respond to messages from someone they don't know. You should always be cautious of anyone you meet online. Scammers will pull victims in with sad stories and then ask for money. They will often avoid meeting in person or virtually. The financial consequences of romance scams can be devastating, so never respond to messages about money from people that you do not know. In government imposter scams, criminals falsely claim to represent federal or state agencies to steal money or personal information. These criminals often come after older adults, and each victim typically loses $10,000 or more, according to the Federal Trade Commission. The Social Security Administration, SSA, is one of the most frequently cited agencies for imposter scams. For example, disability benefit scams frequently involve criminals impersonating Social Security, veteran services, or transitional assistance employees. Scammers often use fear tactics, such as threatening to stop disability benefits. They may also promise to speed up the application process in exchange for fees. Government imposter scams are more prevalent during government shutdowns, environmental disasters, and global pandemics because criminals prey on people during desperate times. If you or your clients were contacted by someone claiming to be with a government agency and you were not expecting the call, hang up and contact the company or the agency using a phone number or a website that you know is real. No government official or agency will ever ask you to pay for anything using gift cards, wire transfers, or cryptocurrency, and they will never use threats like an arrest. The FBI's 2025 Internet Crime Report states that cyber criminals defrauded U.S. residents of nearly $21 billion with cryptocurrency and AI-related complaints among the costliest. People with disabilities and older adults are regular targets. Typically, a threat is often followed by a demand to use a cryptocurrency kiosk. A scammer instructs the victim to find a specific crypto kiosk and deposit funds. They often stay on the phone during the transaction, walking the victim through the process. These transactions are not reversible, and lost money is often not recovered. The machines look like bank ATMs, but are found at convenience stores and gas stations. This type of request is a clear indicator of a scam. Predatory lending is an unethical and sometimes illegal practice, often targeting consumers with poor credit or facing financial hardships. If a borrower can't repay the full amount within the quick required time frame, the loan can be rolled or refinanced for extended time, but with an additional fee. The high cost of the loan results in many lenders automatically refinancing the loan, which can easily trap the consumer into an endless cycle of debt that becomes increasingly difficult to pay off. Complaints to the Massachusetts Division of Banks include APRs reaching 700% and a $500 fee due at signing. Anyone needing a small loan should check to see if the lender is licensed by the Division of Banks before taking any action. Consumer resources and more information on tribal lenders and payday loans are available at mass.gov/DOB. My first tip for avoiding scams and fraud is to always be suspicious of people who are asking for personal information, especially online. Don't overshare on social media because scammers use social media accounts to gather information like personal details about you or people that you know, and this helps them commit crimes. Don't share personal information over the phone unless you have initiated the call to the legitimate company like your bank, and always stop and think before clicking links, especially in unsolicited emails and text messages. We often get calls to our consumer hotline about gift cards being requested as a form of payment. No legitimate company or government agency will ask for gift cards to pay a bill. Once a gift card is purchased and given to a scammer, there's no way to get the money back. Cryptocurrency scams are rapidly growing, and some municipalities in Massachusetts are banning crypto kiosks. Never pay for anything using one of those machines. Lastly, contact your bank or credit loan if you need a loan to avoid predatory lending companies. If someone thinks that they are a victim of a scam, it is important to stop all communication with the scammer immediately. Block the email, the number or social media account, and report the crime with the authorities. In some cases, the authorities can help recover money lost to the scammers. Victims should also freeze their credit with Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. This is free and can be done online in minutes with each company. We also encourage victims to file a complaint with their state's Attorney General's office. This is the contact information for my office. I know that there's a lot of information that I covered today, so I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody might have. If something comes up later on and you have a question, please feel free to contact our office. Our email is very easy, consumer@mass.gov. And we have a consumer hotline, 617-973-8787.
All right, thanks so much, Robin. Are there any questions? We do have a couple folks here. Anything that was rising to the surface for anyone during the presentation?
And it's okay if you don't have any questions, that's fine too. You can always get a hold of us very easily.
All right, well, that's how you know you've done your job well, Robin. If there are no questions.
Okay.
Well, yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I will follow up with the recording and the slides later on today. And I'll also include the team at, what did you say how do you pronounce your abbreviation?
OCABR.
OCABR. I'll follow up with the contact information for the OCABR staff. So if there's anything that you would like to reach out to them about, please feel free. They're always happy to help. We're happy to be able to offer this information to all of you and have such a great resource if there is any help that is needed. So thank you, Robin. Thank you to the team. And thank you all for joining, and hope everyone has a great rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Great. Take care.